Hello everyone, welcome back to the Mule channel, and I'm doing a review of Wolverine #1. This is one of the variant covers, and I think it looks really cool. Okay, so this is like the new Wolverine. He's like the one in Krakoa. So we get, and this is a really thick issue. This is $7.99 US. And it's, I don't know, 64 pages maybe. We start off with Logan talking about places he's been, his names that he's been called, and he's been left for dead. Looks like with Domino. And Jean Grey and this guy, I forget his name, Kid Omega. So the four of them look like they're dead, but of course he is regenerative health, so he's awake, and he's like, a single set of footprints leads off into the snow. Maybe another friend running away from me. Maybe an enemy doing the same. Either way, I couldn't be more lost, so I got no choice but to follow. If you really want to tangle with someone, mutants around the world are flocking to the island nation of Krakoa for safety, security, and to be part of the fierce mutant society, even Wolverine. Yet, in spite of the wealth and opportunity ahead, Wolverine remains poised for the worst. So, Wolverine is in Krakoa, but this is the team. Wolverine is in Krakoa, but he is like, he's kind of not happy with Magneto and kind of the things going on. So we open with Wolverine playing hide and go seek with kids, and you're like, well, that's not really Wolverine, but we get there. He has a talk with Kitty Pryde. It goes on for a while. She explains how the pollen is getting stolen. So like, there's this thing in the X-Men series about the pollen. We got labs on Mars and in the Savage Lands, and everything gets delivered the old-fashioned way by ship. Sometimes mind petals go missing, sometimes antibody petals go missing. I don't know who's responsible for what they're doing with our product. And we cut to Baltimore, where FBI is looking at a crime scene, and they're seeing the pollen. Then there's a one-page recap of the pollen, and you can pause the video and read that for yourself. And we cut to Wolverine with Sage. They're talking about a plan. And then he's got his team, Kid Omega, Domino, and Jean Grey. And they're heading to Russia. I gotta skip some pages. But we're here in Russia, 3 days ago in Russia. And the leader of this cult, the Order of X, he's saying, when gods walk among us, you can hide from them or you can follow them. If you follow them, then you become the shadow of a god yourself. It is no mistake that X is a tilted representation of the cross, a symbol of a higher power. But because the mutant represent eternal life, and then he gets interrupted by the team, X-Force team. And then we get some nice arts and a lot of progression here. So the bad clergymen, or whatever you want to call them, take the drug, and then they go insane. And they start attacking. Pretty cool. Domino, Wolverine, Jean Grey, and I don't know, this old man in the background. I don't know who that is. But we get the Berserker Barrage from Wolverine. I love it. So he's kicking ass. They're taking names. They're kicking ass, but they realize the pollen is what's killing them. So it was like tainted pollen. And then Wolverine goes to, like, I don't know, I guess this drug boss. And he's like, hey, I got this duffel bag of a dead clergyman. And he's got the tainted pollen. You know, what the hell is going on? And this guy's talking about the pale woman But the pale woman, because she made me, she is like her own kind of drug. She gets into your head and makes you do terrible things. This is why we're having the cyanic dampeners to protect ourselves from her. He said he made, you see this? I took out my lighter and I brought the flame to my eye and cooked it in my own socket. Cooking drugs in his eyeball. What the fuck? You cut back to Wolverine in the Alaska now. He says, I'm not safe. My brain won't stop seething with questions. What have I done? What did I come from? I was to find something. It was to meet someone. And then he sees the pale girl. But nothing really happens, so. I wish there was a little more closure on that little, story there. But we go to fast forward a little bit in Krakoa. Wolverine's like, why all these villains are here? Are we? I suppose I gotta trust the same as possible for everyone else. So like, Wolverine's done bad things, and he's wondering why all these bad people are here. And then we get Omega Red coming in. I understand that you're offering amnesty. So they're like, they're offering amnesty to X-Men and also villains. And like Wolverine's like, what the fuck? This guy is bad. This guy's terror bad. And like they send him through a portal. Magneto sends him through a portal into Paris, where he sees these dead bodies, and he thinks Omega Red did it. And Omega Red's denying it. Magneto's talking. And then Wolverine goes back to Paris. He goes to the Latin Quarter in Paris, where he meets this woman who's like hitting on him. They go into this club, and then this is where things really get interesting. So, air is thick with cologne and perfume, as if the club's trying to cover up something, maybe a few centuries of mildew and sweat. Always thought absinthe tasted a little like a freshly polished hardwood floor. But if there's no bourbon to be had, I'll drink whatever's in the well. That's when the music stops. Everyone's staring at me. Uh-oh. He's been drugged. And it's vampires. So we get Wolverine fighting vampires. I like it. I like it a lot. It cuts off this guy's head. 6 spikes go into this guy. Double fisting. And then he gets saved by that woman he met earlier, who looks really cool. Her name's Louise. And Omega Red's trying to say like, hey, I'm not a bad guy. I didn't do it. I didn't kill anyone. And then the coroner is treating this dead body, but then he becomes a vampire, and they kill the coroner. And Wolverine's still in Paris with the woman. They go to, she's got, in a church, she's got well, I'll give you this first. So this is the code to get this comic for free if you do digital. I suspect that is your fault, or the fault of Krakoa, Father. Humankind is distracted and disempowered. Oh, I said that wrong, sorry. I expect that's your fault, or the fault of Krakoa. Rather, humankind is distracted and disempowered. So the bloodsuckers see this as an opportunity to rise up. If you're part of the cause, you can also help to offer a solution. That's what I'm here to help. Something tells me this is not the only thing you're here for. Here, do you like? Please help yourself to anything but my UV cannon. And he doesn't need anything. He's got his claws. So they go deep. Skip a bit. They go deep into the cellar, and they see there's they call it the Vampire Nation. So there's like thousands of, maybe even millions of vampires underneath Paris, and they're fighting. So a good fight. Wolverine's like covered in blood because the bats took his blood. And why did the bats take his blood? Because Dracula is here. Vlad Dracula. Then we get Dracula meeting up with Omega Red. Dracula, the plan must have worked unless you're wearing SPF 3000. I got you, Logan. I did my part. As you agreed, the carbonadium synthesizer. You will no longer need to kill to live, but maybe that won't stop you from trying to kill. You should know, however, that housed inside of it is a detonator. What does that mean? It means you remain in my service. It means the Vampire Nation has plans. It means that the mutants will not interfere with them. And how the hell am I supposed to prevent that from happening? Join them, but obey me. Says Dracula's. You get a page about blood work of the characters. So there's a lot of things going on here. Wolverine's back. He's got his own series. I don't know if it's a one-shot or his actual series. But the art's amazing. Who does the art? Adam Coupert is the artist. Frank Miller is the color. Benjamin Percy is the writer. And I think it's really good so far. They got Hickman off writing. Hickman is the one of the editors. So basically there's a drug that's like a pollen, and then there's some vampire things going on. Wolverine's teaming up with a new woman, Louise, who is in Paris. They're in Paris. It's an interesting new story for Wolverine in Paris, taking on zombies. And I like it. I think you should pick it up. So this is a recommend. Wolverine #1, $7.99. It's a thick issue, maybe 64 pages. That's about two comics in there. Sorry, I have cat hair on there. Please check out my website, the-mule.net. Link will be in the description, as well as social media accounts. And thank you for watching, and have a great day.